What's up, everybody, and welcome to Evolved, RWA's exclusive women's wrestling talk show. I'm your host, Phil Cataldo, but you can call me Phillium. And on this week's episode, I'm giving you guys my top 25 favorite women's wrestlers right now. And before we get into any of that, I'd just like to remind you that this show is brought to you by patreon.com/rant with Ant, where if you sign up at the $5 level, you get this show an entire week early, Wednesday morning. But if you don't want to sign up, it's cool. I release the show on Rant with Ant's YouTube channel a week later, so make sure you subscribe over there to see this and everything else we have going on. But for now, let's get into some women's wrestling. Now, I was talking about on last week's show that I wanted to give you guys a top 25 list. Now, just a way to start this off. This is not who I think are the top 25 best women's wrestlers in the business. These are the top 25 women that are my favorite, the people that I look forward to seeing every single week. So, and another thing I do want to say, if you guys follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Phillium RWA, you probably know who my top three are because I talk about them constantly all the time. I have the merch. You see people in the background in these pictures right here, so you understand who my top three are going to be. I think where it's going to get interesting is numbers 11 through 25, because I think that in any list, when you get that deep into a list, you have to really start thinking about who you're picking, because once you get past the heavy hitters, the big names, it gets very, very interesting. Another thing I do want to say is I do have teams on here. I was thinking about just putting maybe one member from a team, but if I do like a team or a group or a stable, and trust me, I'm pretty sure you guys know who I'm talking about already, but I'm putting the entire team up there because I believe the act of all of them together is what makes them better. It is not one member of the group who is a weak link. They each make every single one of their group members better, and I think that's what I like about them. And I haven't really gotten a chance to see most of them by themselves, or not enough. So I definitely do like them more as a group, but we'll get into that later. So now we're going to go from 1 to 25, and let's go. Of course, number 1, my top wrestler, my top favorite wrestler in the entire industry, not just woman, is Tessa Blanchard. She's my absolute favorite. Coming up, I'm going to do a show explaining why she's my absolute favorite, so I will save that for that show. But of course, Tessa Blanchard, the diamond of professional wrestling, undeniable Tessa Blanchard is number 1. Now we move on to number 2, and ain't no shock. Look right here. I got my girl on the wall right here. We got the Princess of Staten Island. Mella is Money. Carmella, my number 2 favorite. And then we got the EST of NXT TV coming in at number 3, Bianca Belair. I think she is the future of this business. I think that she is everything that Sasha Banks gives you. I think she is everything that a lot of these women give you on the main roster. And she's stronger, and she's tougher, and she's more durable. I think the only thing that she's missing right now is promo work, and that's only going to come with time. She's not terrible at promos. It's just she hasn't had a lot of experience on it. But she's, at this moment of the recording, going on to NXT TakeOver and having a big match with Shayna Baszler. So hopefully she shows out and shows everybody why she is my number 3 favorite women's wrestler in the world. Moving on to number 4, Becky Lynch. Now, for a lot of people, I know they have her high on this list. I didn't want to just jump on the bandwagon because, of course, right now, when we were recording this video in January of 2019, Becky Lynch is the number 1 professional wrestler in the entire industry, the number 1 most popular wrestler. And, you know, I was a huge fan of Becky Lynch when she was in NXT, when she came out with that steampunk gimmick. You know, I loved her match with Sasha Banks because, of course, I loved Sasha Banks when she was NXT. I thought she was great. I was very upset actually going into Bayley and Sasha that I wasn't going to get a chance to see Becky versus Sasha too. But of course, as we know, that's not really how NXT works. They give you these great matches, not until I think Asuka's run, when the women's division was pretty depleted, where they had to repeat matches, did they start to repeat these matches more frequently. So Becky Lynch is my number 4. Of course, you guys know why. She's the man. She's awesome. She talks all that shit. She backs it up in the ring. She's an underdog. Definitely someone awesome to watch. Now we move on to number 5, and that is Ronda Rousey. I cannot believe that Ronda Rousey is a professional wrestler. It is still incredible to me. It makes me so happy to see her excelling in an industry that she loves, and excelling somewhere else besides MMA, because, of course, we know she comes from MMA and all that stuff, but it's great to see her, you know, have these great matches. We saw her at WrestleMania. She had some huge moment there, and people were like, she's going to struggle one-on-one. She had 2 great matches with Nia. She had a decent match with Alexa. She had an incredible match with Charlotte, which was one of my favorite matches of 2018. And the star is shining bright for her. The future is bright. Well, however you guys want to say it, love me some Ronda Rousey. Number 6, Toni Storm. I've seen a lot of her work outside of the company progress. I've seen some of her matches in Stardom, but everything that she's done in the Mae Young Classic and everything that she has done in NXT UK right now is awesome. Love me some Toni Storm. Number 7 is a surprise for me. Up until she debuted on NXT and really was in the Mae Young Classic, the second one. I never even gave this girl a chance, and I've seen her match with Toni, but I never really gave her a fair shot. But Io Shirai is the real deal. She moves so quickly in the ring, and I tell a lot of people in Who Got Next Patreon chat that it's incredible to see her move this quickly and this fast. She is so awesome to watch, and it's clear that her favorite wrestler is Rey Mysterio. It's awesome, and I love to watch Io Shirai wrestle. She's just a pleasure, and that moonsault is just perfection. Now we move on to number 8, and that is Alexa Bliss. Of course, I'm a huge Alexa Bliss fan. I was a fan of hers when she was in NXT, but really, in all honesty, because she looked good, because she didn't really get to wrestle there. I loved her as a character, but she didn't really do good as a wrestler. I think that on the main roster, ever since getting drafted by SmackDown and now going over to Raw, I think she's a huge star for that company. I know a lot of people try to shit on her for her in-ring work, but remember, she works heel, so they don't let her do all these crazy flippy moves that she's able to do. I love Alexa Bliss. She's awesome and super nice. If you guys ever get a chance to meet her, she's incredibly nice. Number 9. Now, for me, this is showing that I am maturing when it comes to women's wrestling, because when she was in NXT, I was not a fan of her at all. When she was on the main roster in the beginning, I was not a fan of hers at all. I respected how good she was, but remember, this isn't who's the most talented. It's who are my favorite. But number 9, shout out to Cody Hoot, is Charlotte Flair. I just think over this last year, she has really hit another gear. She's really found her character. She could be a babyface, she could be a heel, she could be anything. She is the queen for a reason. I think she's going to go down as the greatest women's wrestler of all time, bar none. And that's crazy because Tessa's my favorite, but Charlotte is just on another level. Charlotte is everything that's right about women's wrestling. She can do it all. She could talk, she could wrestle, she could do everything. She is so awesome to watch. Number 10. Now, if you guys at the Rant with Ant Patreon or just guys on the YouTube channel understand, I call myself Kairi Sane's number 1 bandwagon fan because I knew absolutely nothing about her until the first Mae Young Classic, and I was very upset when she beat Tessa Blanchard in that first Mae Young Classic. But let me tell you, Kairi Sane is a real deal. She's awesome. And, kind of like Alexa Bliss, I'm a big fan of her being a smaller wrestler because she gets to work a different style. She has a lot of cool moves, and she has the best elbow drop ever delivered in this entire industry forever. She throws her entire body weight into it, and obviously that's due to her size, but man, Kairi Sane is incredible. Now we move on to 11, and this is where I introduced my first tag team stable, whatever you want to call it, the Iconics. Iconics? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? I was wearing the shirt last week, man. The Iconics are so great. I absolutely love the Iconics. Yes, I do think they should be the first ever WWE Tag Team Women's Champion. It will be a great time. I love the Iconics. Now we move on to number 12, and that is Nikki Bella. And I understand that if you guys listen to the show, you know that is Rant with Ant. That's Ant's favorite wrestler. She's awesome, man. She's really improved so much. The first time that I ever really took notice to her as a wrestler was when she was in the feud with Carmella, because of course Carmella is one of my favorites, and I got to actually pay attention to Nikki Bella matches and stuff like that. She works a powerhouse style. It's great. We saw her have a great match with Ronda Rousey at Evolution. So Nikki Bella ain't no punk no more. This ain't diva wrestler Nikki Bella no more. She's actually a really, really good wrestler. Now, number 13, the Riot Squad. So great. Love the chemistry between all 3 girls. And I wish I could say that I knew this was going to work the whole time. No, I thought this shit was going to fail. I was like, why would Ruby Riot hang out with Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan? That it was the dumbest pairing. Their characters had nothing to do with each other. But now we are over a year with these women as a team, and they're incredible. I don't want to ever see them apart, and I honestly think that Ruby Riot in 2019 should win a women's championship. Maybe she should get off Raw and get away from Ronda and possibly Becky coming over, but I think Ruby Riot is a star to watch because of the entire Riot Squad together. Number 14, we have Nia Jax. Powerhouse, awesome, love her promos. I know a lot of people don't like her right now, but I think she's badass. Number 15, we have Lacey Evans, the classy woman. I can't remember her nickname right now, but it's okay. the classiest woman out there. She's awesome. I love her women's right. She throws that punch and makes it look like she's murdering someone with that punch. And she's gotten so much better since her first debut in the Mae Young Classic 1. It is incredible to see how good she has gotten. Now we move on to number 16, who I know people like my co-host MJ would be very, very happy to hear. Now my number 16, of course, is God's greatest creation, Mandy Rose. And obviously, yes, she is beautiful. Yes, she is gorgeous. But Mandy Rose is an incredible wrestler on the rise. Let's not get crazy. I know she's not one of the best wrestlers, but I think that with her powerhouse style, because she's very strong, she can do a lot of cool things. Plus, I love Mandy Rose's running knee finisher. I think it's awesome. I think she delivers it great every single time, and she's only going to get better. And as a lot of people say, you see a lot of Trish Stratus in Mandy Rose. And remember, Trish Stratus was a terrible fucking wrestler at first, but became one of the best ever. And I think Mandy Rose, if done correctly, can be in the same have that same momentum that Trish had. Now we move on to number 17. That's Lana. And here's why. I know Lana's not that good of a wrestler, right? The reason she's at my number 17 is because I think she's an incredible character, right? Yes, she's annoying. I understand that. I get that. But when Lana comes out, I get super hyped. I get super excited. She's just funny to watch. She can be annoying. She can be all these things. She's really evolved as a character. Shout out to the fact that sometimes she has a Russian accent. Sometimes she doesn't. But whatever. She's one of my favorite women to see come out there. She's one of my favorite performers to come out there. That's why I have her at 17. Now, if this was an all-time list, this woman at number 18 would be number 2. But we're talking about in 2019, who do I love seeing the most? And number 18 is Mickie James. And I understand that she hasn't gotten to wrestle that much, but I think that she can still go. If we're talking about 2018, how incredible was Mickie doing? I can't think of the words right now. How awesome was it seeing Mickie James take Ember Moon's finisher and make Ember Moon look like $1 million? No one has ever taken Ember Moon's finisher that well, and no one will probably ever take it that well again, because they can only really match what Mickie James did. Because man, she made Ember Moon look like a goddamn star last night, because Mickie James is one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time, and I still love seeing her to this day. Number 19, shout out to my co-host of Rant with Ant, the Demon Diva. This is one of her favorite women's wrestlers. We have Shayna Baszler. I think she is so awesome. I knew I was gonna like her, right? I didn't know I was going to like her this much. Whenever she's on NXT TV, it just makes me so happy to see her get out there and beat the shit out of these girls. And her character is so awesome. And that's a shout out to the writers, because they are writing her perfectly. She was never undefeated. She lost in the beginning, and she lost to Kairi Sane since then. But her character is so badass, it doesn't matter that she loses, right? When she loses, it's her fault. It's not you winning. It's her messing up. And I think that's a great way to book her. Now we move on to number 20, and that is Ember Moon. When at first I was like, she's cool, but I don't get the gimmick. I don't understand it. I've heard her on a podcast say she's like a war goddess, and makes me understand even more. Of course, her name was Athena when she was on the Indies, so it all kind of comes together and makes sense. Ember Moon is great. I think she's even better on the main roster than she ever was in NXT, and she has some incredible matches with Asuka, but man, Ember Moon is a goddamn star. Being in that crowd for Evolution and understanding just how great Ember Moon was, it is just, it's really something you have to kind of witness live to really truly understand how good Ember Moon is. Now we move on to 21, and that's Dakota Kai. Shout out Keenan. Dakota Kai is awesome. Dakota Kai got those kicks. Yet again, another woman I didn't think I was going to like this much, but she's really awesome. Love to see her just go out there and kick. And she's hurt right now, which sucks, but I'm sure she's going to come back stronger, better than ever. Just like number 22, shout out to Cody Hood again, Tegan Knox, a.k.a. Nixon Newell. She's awesome. She had a gummy bear match, and now people are going to laugh, oh, Phil, you're stupid. She had a gummy bear match, and they made it funny and awesome. And I've seen, Nixon fight Bea Priestley. I think it was What Culture Pro Wrestling, and which is not Defiant Wrestling, I believe. And then her work in the second Mae Young Classic. I think it sucks that she got hurt, especially getting hurt the way that she did, but she's very, very good in the ring, and I can see why someone like Cody Hoot loves her so goddamn much. She is so awesome. Number 23 is a newer wrestler that I got my eyes on, and that is Chelsea Green. Of course, I was at All In as a part of Rant with Ant, being there with Ant in G-Rod last August, covering everything that was All In, and Chelsea Green stole the show for me. I think that out of everybody that was on the card, she really stuck out the most. I think that she's an absolute star. NXT is very lucky to have her on there. And, when they did, especially with All Elite Wrestling starting now, I think Chelsea Green can be a massive star for your company with the whole hot mess gimmick. And I love when she plays it where it's like split, where it's like half and half. You don't know which Chelsea you're going to get. I think that's pretty awesome. And she has she has long legs. So when she does a lot of these kicks, it just looks brutal. So I think that's pretty cool. Number 24, shout out to Ant from Rant with Ant. This is one of his favorites. Rhea Ripley. What a fucking breakout star she's been. When she was in the first Mae Young Classic and I want to say like 6 months after that, we were like, whatever. Like, she's good, but she's basic. She's bland. She's plain. A lot of people were calling her Charlotte. Like, she's like a young Charlotte when Charlotte was in NXT and didn't really have a direction. But man, Rhea Ripley found that direction. She's awesome. She has her head shaved on the side a little bit. Mrs. Phillium says she looks like a female Pete Dunne. They look like brother and sister, which I think is pretty funny, seeing as we're recording this, they're both the NXT UK and NXT UK Women's Champion. But man, Rhea Ripley's awesome. She just beats the hell out of girls, and I cannot wait to see her match with Toni Storm at TakeOver Blackpool, and I cannot wait to see Rhea Ripley fight Tegan Nox when she comes back, because Rhea Ripley is a savage, and she keeps poking at her, which is only going to make Tegan Nox an even bigger babyface when she finally comes back. Now, the last woman on this list could be a lot of people, right? But for me, and remember, this is my favorites now, who I think is the best. We're talking Taynara Conti in NXT. There's just something about her, right? The whole black belt style. She comes in, she holds the belt up. She's like crazy. She has like the cool music people like to bop their heads to. I just think she's awesome. When she was in the second Mae Young Classic is where I really kind of took a liking to her. I think she's great. I think she has a ton of potential. If booked properly, I think she could be a big star for them in NXT. I don't know if her act will kind of work on the main roster. I mean, look at someone like a Sonya Deville, who I also really do love. Her like mixed martial arts style that they're like using her as, I think it tends to not let these women show their personality. But I think Taynara Conti is just a ball of personality, and she could be really, really great for NXT. And I do hope one day that we get that Brazilian stable. I think it was called Enois, that I know we're working a lot of these NXT live shows. But that is my top 25. I will recap it for you guys. Number 1, Tessa Blanchard, then Carmella, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, Toni Storm, Io Shirai, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte, Kairi Sane, The Iconics, Nikki Bella, The Riot Squad, Nia Jax, Lacey Evans, Mandy Rose, Lana, Mickie James, Shayna Baszler, Ember Moon, Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox, Chelsea Green, Rhea Ripley, and Taynara Conti. Just want to thank you guys for watching this video. I know this one went pretty long. I do want to try to keep this around 10 minutes, but there was a lot of stuff to talk about. I had to give each and every one of these fantastic, incredibly talented women their due and their shine. So thank you guys for watching. Next week's show, you got to tune in to see what it is, because I haven't decided what I want to do yet. I may reach out to you Patreons to see what you guys want me to do. But listen, we have some great things coming up. Maybe, you know what? Actually, forget that. Next week, I'm going to tell you guys why I love Tessa Blanchard so much. No, I'm not. I take that back. I ain't going to do that. Because, of course, if you guys go on my Twitter, at Phillium RWA, I am doing the 31 days of Tessa. And at the end of the month, I will give you guys my explanation in regards to me watching 31 Tessa Blanchard matches this month. Right, and go to Twitter, at Phillium RWA, to stay tuned for all of that, to keep up with me day by day by day. And at the end of the month, I will give you that Tessa Blanchard episode. But next week is actually up in the air for the Patreons. So make sure you guys write to me. You can hit me up in the Patreon chat. Whatever you got to do, tell me what you want me to talk about in the world of women's wrestling. I will see you guys later. Kawaii, so kawaii.